retardants have a history of repeating themselves in this country. First, asbestos, then PCBs, and now chlorinated and brominated fire retardants. In the 1970s, flame retardant chemicals came into the picture. 40% of the country smoked. People commonly smoked indoors, and a lot of people were dying in fires, most of which were ignited by cigarettes. At the time, the tobacco industry knew it could make cigarettes self-extinguishing, but, not surprisingly, it didn't want to. So as the push for fire-safe cigarettes was gaining steam, the tobacco industry fought back by organizing a fake group called the National Association of State Fire Marshals, who claimed to represent firefighters. The group's main focus was pushing for federal standards for fire-resistant furniture. These efforts weren't totally successful, but by the end of the 70s, all 50 states had passed laws requiring self-extinguishing cigarettes, but one state took it a step further. You can thank California for flame retardants winding up in your home today. In 1975, as a response to the rising risk of fire deaths, the state of California passed a law known as Technical Bulletin 117, TB 117, which required polyurethane foam to resist an open flame. Sadly, though the original author of TB 117 had specifically included language requiring that any chemical used to make furniture fire-resistant be safe for human health, politicians removed that language before the law went into effect. The furniture industry originally tried to produce furniture solely for the California market and separate products for the rest of the United States, but that proved to be too onerous. And 30 years after the law was enacted, 80% of all furniture sold in the United States meets TB 117 standards with toxic chemicals. There have been thousands of studies ranging from the Silent Spring Institute to individual scientists to governmental agencies. The EPA is currently conducting a study assessing various chemicals and their risks. This is still in progress. In January of 2015, it went into effect that flame retardants are no longer mandated by TB 117. So what is the current situation? Why am I so concerned with chemical fire retardants? Chemical fire retardants have been linked to increased rates of infertility, birth defects, lower IQ scores, and behavioral problems in children. In adults, it's been linked to liver cancer, kidney cancer, testicular cancer, and breast cancer. And it's in 90% of our homes.
Felt a strange twinge, which then became a narrowing of my vision as I was driving. I was able to pull my truck over. What happened next, I would never expect in my life. I suffered a grand mal seizure. Ran up to Marin General Hospital for testing and determined that I had a brain tumor. They took out roughly half of a Cornish game hen of affected brain material. When I mentioned what I did for a living, the doctors were like, oh, okay, well that explains a lot, just based on the types of exposures that we receive at work. It would at least put it out there and make people think, provide the information. Whether they use it, that's up to them, but it should at least be put out there.
You've waited years for her arrival, but she's finally here, and you'll stop at nothing to protect her. One of the biggest threats to her health is in your home. Learn more at cfr.org.
Feel that if we can do anything to keep little children from getting burned, and once again, it's not your kids. It's going to be the little kids in the more economically deprived areas that get burned. It's not your kids.
Well,
Flame retardants are found in a whole slew of different products. They are in your couch. They're probably in, your easy chairs. They're in some breastfeeding pillows, strollers, things like that. They can be in a whole bunch of different products. A recent study last year tested 100 different children's products, baby products, found flame retardants in 80% of them. So they're in a lot of different things. They're also in the plastic around television sets. They're in, they're in a really wide range of products.
The chemical industry makes three main arguments on flame retardants. They work really well, they're safe, and they're actually good for the environment. They're actually good for the environment. And when you take each one of those arguments and you look at the scientific research behind those arguments, it doesn't hold up.
Flame retardant chemicals are linked to cancer, hormone disruption, and neurological deficits, among other problems. It's one thing to have some health risks if you're getting this huge fire safety benefit, but I think when it comes to furniture, what we found was they don't work as promised. One of the scientists whose work the industry has repeatedly cited, he says that the flame retardants, the way they're used in modern household furniture, they don't work. The fire just laughs at it, is what he said.
What both the Consumer Product Safety Commission and Underwriters Laboratories have found is in using the typical flame retardant chemicals in the actual foam, the foam cushions in chairs, they don't provide any meaningful difference. They don't give you any meaningful protection.